How do I age well? It's something I often ponder on. My name's Rosaria Barretto, and I want to find out what it takes to live a healthy and happy life as we age. I'm a clinical exercise specialist, and for the past 5 years, I've worked with nearly 1,000 older adults, and as a result, have had the chance to talk to a diverse range of happy and healthy, and not so happy and healthy people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I want to know what it takes to be able to look back and confidently say, I lived an amazing life. Why not join me in this exploration on what it takes to live happily and healthily and learn how to age well? Hello. So I want to start today's episode by apologising for not posting anything in the last few weeks. At the beginning of April, I actually went to Singapore, and I've been here and I'm still here for a little bit of a break, a little bit of a working holiday, a little bit of a distraction from life, and also to get out of my house so I can get my kitchen done. So there are lots of reasons, but the biggest reason being I needed to spend time with my husband whilst he works here for 3 months. But because of that, I have not been managing to hit my targets. I told myself that if I didn't want to work, then I didn't need to. I was feeling a little bit burnt out towards the end of March, and I basically gave myself permission to take it chill for April. So after this lovely break, I will be back to my usual posting schedule, hopefully, which is every Monday. But we've got a lovely episode planned, which is top 10 things to avoid to live a healthier life. So today's episode is short and sweet. I just wanted to kind of give you a bit of an update, but also summarize something that's really useful to be aware of. Also, if you hear background noise, I'm living in an apartment studio, and I'm in Singapore, so it's a city and it's loud, so you may get some beeping, some birds, some random noises. I apologise. So, top 10 things to avoid to live a healthier life. A few weeks ago, we did top 10 things to do to be healthier and happier. So this is now turning it around on its side and focusing on what things we should avoid. So number 1, we've got excess sugar consumption. I'm going to be really short and sweet, but why consuming too much sugar is linked to obesity, diabetes, and various other health issues. We know it's not great for us. It also can lead to energy crashes and mood swings. I know that when I eat high starchy, sugary foods, and that could include, for example, like a McDonald's, or it could be an ice cream or something like that, afterwards I don't feel very good. I feel low, I feel exhausted, and just not optimal. So some things that you can do to avoid eating too much sugar, and I would mainly focus on processed sugar, things like sweets, biscuits, cake, cereal, different things like that. Just have a little look at the food label, because not everything, you may think that some things are okay to eat, but actually, in fact, they're really high in sugar. So also reduce sugary drink intake. So look at different drinks, look at what their sugar content is. Something that I was only recently made aware about was squash, and looking at the sugar levels in squash, the drink. And then also opt in for natural sweeteners. So basically you could do a swap. Instead of having processed sugars and starches, then focus on things like honey or maple syrup or fruit. If you're feeling like you need an energy boost, maybe have an apple instead. Number 2, sedentary lifestyle. So why do we need to avoid living a sedentary lifestyle? Well, lack of physical activity is associated with a higher risk of chronic disease, increased heart disease, and obesity. Obviously, all those things are not great. And actually, what they do tend to say, or whoever knows who they are, is that sedentary behavior is actually, a bigger killer than smoking. So just keep that in mind. And sedentary living basically means not living an active lifestyle, so something like having an office job. Even somebody like me, where I exercise in the morning, but then let's say I were to work in an office Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till 5 p.m., just exercise in the morning, that's actually still a sedentary lifestyle. So maybe looking at doing things like walking at lunchtime and then also doing an extra bit of movement in the evening, rather than going from my office job. I actually don't have an office job, but if, let's say, I had an office job, then going straight to watching TV, that is a sedentary lifestyle. So I'm not talking about kind of your stereotypical person who just is a couch potato. Because of the way that society is, we are encouraged, negatively encouraged, to just be sedentary without even realizing. Sitting in a car, sitting on a sofa, sitting at work, different things like that. And how can you avoid this? Well, incorporate regular exercise into your routine, as I said. So if you're a morning person like me, go and do your morning exercise. And then if you're sat or you're not doing very much for a couple of hours, make sure you go for a 10-minute walk or get a standing desk. Or this is not just about movement, it's also about posture. So if you, for example, need to be at a screen for a prolonged period of time, then actually standing is a million times better than just sitting for that whole hour. But any kind of physical activity is important, whether that's housework to literally just like 10 star jumps randomly. It's all really, really good stuff. It's really important for your metabolism, for your blood flow, for your mental health. Number 3 is poor diet. We need to avoid our poor diet, especially a diet high in processed foods, saturated fats. But I think the saturated fats thing needs to come with a little bit of asterisks, because saturated fats are important for us. I'm not going to talk about too much today, but definitely avoid high processed foods and foods that are low in nutrients. So foods that don't really give you any value. These can contribute to unnecessary weight gain, body inflammation, and various health problems such as high blood pressure. So how to avoid this? You can focus on a balanced diet. Now, everybody's balanced diet will be different, but things I think that most people don't prioritize are proteins. So getting enough protein into your diet is going to make you feel full. It's going to support with muscle metabolism. It's also going to support you with healthy internal bodily processes. And then come with eating lots of protein, your body, I know that me personally, I drink a lot more water and I eat more protein. And maybe a hydration element there. So yeah, focus on something that's going to encourage a better diet. Maybe that's cutting out processed foods, or maybe that's increasing something else, like increasing your protein intake or increasing your green vegetable intake, different things like that. Something I would just encourage generally is just avoid fast food. We know that fast food is okay in moderation, but even then, even if you were to just have fast food occasionally, like yesterday I had this burger and I felt sick just eating it. I don't know even why I finished it, but it was just horrible, and I know it wasn't good for me. It was just processed to the max, and then I just felt well for like 24 hours afterwards. And I don't eat fast food a lot, but even when I do, it doesn't bring me any joy really. Number 4 is chronic stress. Yeah, easier said than done. So prolonged stress can contribute to mental health issues, and as a result, it can also weaken the immune system and increase the risk of developing chronic health conditions. I have experienced my own chronic stress in the past. It's not easy to avoid that, I understand, and there are ways to avoid it, but setting best practice is a really great way. So making sure that you're very self-aware of your stress levels. If your body is telling you, for example, I get eczema, I can't sleep very well, I feel upset or angry all the time, different things like that, they're signs to me that I'm getting stressed and it's on the higher end of stress. So it's really important for me to practice different things like meditating more, going to the gym a bit more, maybe making sure that I'm sleeping, my sleep routine is better. So not just going straight from a laptop or a screen to sleep, taking some time away from a screen, but also maybe just taking a complete week off from doing absolutely nothing, which is what I've just done. I've just been in Bali for a week. I know that I said I was in Singapore, so I've been in Singapore. I have been working whilst I'm in Singapore, but when I went to Bali, I left my work phone at home. I left my laptop at home. I didn't do any work. I literally checked my emails for 5 minutes at one point, just in case I had any important, urgent things I needed to deal with. And I feel a million times better for it. I'm not 100% recovered, I don't think. I think I do need to take a bit more time off and just work in a more low intense environment. But I know that it makes me not into a very good or happy person. So yeah, there's loads of things you can do to avoid chronic stress. And I think I also have another episode about this. So make sure you have a look at my other episodes, which goes into much more detail. Number 5, inadequate sleep. So if we're not getting healthy sleep, if we're not getting good sleep, we're going to affect our cognitive function. We're going to weaken our immune system, increase the risk of long-term health conditions like diabetes and heart disease. Also, our mental health is going to suffer, and there are so many other physical health conditions that can be as a result of poor sleep. But we sleep, I can't remember the stats, but we sleep for most of our life, right? So like, let's say half of our life. I know that's not an accurate statistic, but let's say we're awake for half of our life, we're asleep for half of our life. It's so important that that sleep routine is optimized. So different things like maintain a consistent sleep schedule. If you're going to sleep at 5 p.m. and waking up at 6 a.m. and then you're going to sleep at 1 a.m. and waking up at 9 a.m., like different things like that, that's not actually good for us. You want to make sure that you've got a set routine so your body knows when it's going to be shutting down. You also want to make sure you're getting enough sleep. I know that probably most of us don't get enough sleep. I'm a 9 hours a night kind of girl. I do get 9 hours a night most of the time. And I know that when I don't get 9 hours, I'm not a good person to be around. A great relaxing bedtime routine can be so important for falling asleep easily and staying asleep. So maybe that's meditating, then maybe that's a hot glass of water or a warm glass of water just before bedtime. Maybe it's listening to some peaceful music. Maybe it's no screen time for an hour or 2 hours before sleeping, and ensuring that you're sleeping in a clean environment. So making sure your bed sheets are clean, your bedroom is not dusty. You've got a quiet room. So avoiding sleep pollution noise pollution is really important. So number 6, excessive alcohol. Now we all know that excessive alcohol is just not good for us, but it can lead to liver damage, increased risk of accidents, addiction, and various other health conditions, including lots of mental health conditions. And I know it's much easier said than done, because if you have a personality that is easily addicted to substance, or if you have a genetic background in terms of other family members being addicted to alcohol, then it is a lot harder than some people. So just be self-aware again, knowing that I know that I like to drink alcohol. My husband just could probably never drink alcohol ever again, and that wouldn't be a hard thing for him, but it would be a hard thing for me. And then knowing your limits as well. And that just takes practice. That's something like setting boundaries, knowing that if you buy a bottle of wine, you don't have to drink the whole thing. It took me months to learn that. I just got to this point where I drank a whole bottle of wine on a Friday night just while I was watching TV by myself, and felt like crap for the morning after. Not good for me in terms of calories. That's nearly 1,000 calories of no nutrients, it's not nutritional calories. And then consider alcohol-free days. If you're somebody who drinks every day, maybe just limit that to 2 or 3 days a week. But there's lots of different things you could do. As I said, this is a quick run through. We're not going to go into too much detail. What number are we up to? 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 9, 10. Great. So 8, smoking and tobacco. Let's avoid that. I know that potentially my generation, so the younger generation, smoking tobacco isn't necessarily popular, but vaping is so popular. So it's important for both. I don't know enough about vaping, but I do know that it's not good for you. And it's one of the leading causes of preventable diseases like cancer, heart disease, and respiratory health conditions. So just don't do it. And how to quit? Everybody quits in different ways. There's not one way to quit. But avoiding exposure to secondhand smoke is also a great way to not get into it into the first place, but also avoid wanting to smoke. And even if you're somebody who doesn't smoke, but you're around somebody who just smoke a lot, then that's something to think about. But I think if you want to quit smoking, it's important to speak to a professional that knows how to help you with these things. I do not. Number 8. Yeah, number 8. We're on our last 3 now. So ignoring your mental health, something we should avoid. Don't ignore what's going on in your mind. So you're neglecting your mental health can lead to conditions such as anxiety and depression, impacting overall well-being. But this can also get worse. I've actually got experience working in private and public mental health services, and I've seen how ignoring mental health can get extremely terrible for your health, your physical health, your mental health, but also your physical health, in a sense that I could be working with 18-year-olds that look 35 just because of, and I'm not saying that being 35 is old or a bad thing, but they look older than their biological age because of the health conditions that they're experiencing. Now, if you do need help with your mental health, then please go and see someone, talk to somebody who can support you. I have spoken to people in the past for my needs, because I suffer from anxiety and depression. And I know that when it gets really, really bad, I do need that external support. Number 9 is excessive screen time. If somebody said to me, I didn't have to work ever again, I would just get rid of my phone. The only reason I need my phone is because I need to work. And my phone I use for recording this podcast, for example, or I use it to manage my social media from work, my emails, different things like that. So limit excessive screen time. This can lead to sedentary behavior, so going back to that earlier point, and it can also lead to disrupted sleep, and it can also affect your eyes and your brain. So lots of different impact as a result of excessive screen time, and I think we are all on screens way too much. I read earlier that the optimal time to work a day is 5 hours a day, and we're probably on our computers just for work for at least 8 hours, and then think about how long you're on your phone for social time, which is maybe like 3 hours a day. I actually have a timer on my phone which limits me to 1 hour and 15 minutes. So when I reach that on all of my social media apps, not each in total, my phone goes, you can't access this app anymore because you've reached your limit, which has been great. And ways to avoid this, I think one of those, what I just said, is a great way to avoid excessive time on your screen. Taking breaks is also really impactful. So if you are somebody who has to be on a screen because of work, then make sure that you're taking regular breaks. That's 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes, do something for 5 minutes, and just engage in activities that don't involve screens. Your eyes will thank you for it. And number 10, ignoring preventative healthcare. In Western society, we're not great at being preventative. We're not reactive. We're not proactive. We are very, very unresponsive at the stages where it really matters. And then by that point, it's a little bit too late. So neglecting regular health checkups and screenings and looking after your health in the moment can result in undetected health issues that may worsen over time. So make sure that you're scheduling regular health checks. Don't ignore your teeth, for example. Go, if you can't afford to see a dentist every 6 months, at least see a dentist every 1 year or every 12 months. My husband's terrible. He never gets his eyes checked. He never gets his teeth checked until I'm really forcing him, or something bad happens. And make sure that you're just learning about health. As you learn about health, you start to understand your body more and your mental health more, and that makes you way more aware and way more understanding of what you need and what you need to do to live better, to live longer, to live healthier. So by avoiding these top 10 detrimental behaviors and incorporating healthier habits into your lifestyle, you can significantly improve your overall well-being and longevity so that you live, so that you live healthier in your later life. I'm going to end it there, but thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it, and make sure to like and rate this podcast. My name's Rosaria Barreto, and thank you so much for listening to How to Age Well. If you've enjoyed the podcast, I'd really appreciate it if you could take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback means so much and helps others to find out about how to age well.